I'm Renee Noor, model, creative director, founder of Global Women Wealth Warriors, Wellness Hub, and GW3 Magazine. I dedicated my life and devoted my career into helping women and girls to achieving their goals. I've been passionate about empowering women and enriching men. This opportunity in working with the Global Women Wealth Warriors have afforded me the pleasure of traveling outside of the country to be a support unit, most importantly, to help impact and change lives. Our ultimate purpose is to help others to become whole from finance, spiritual, mental, as well as physical. We know there are challenges and obstacles to get you to the next level. However, it's time for you to level up, boss up, and welcome to Power to Soar.
Welcome, 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 family. Oh my goodness. Today is not only going to be a special episode. My name is Renee Noor. I hope you guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me in the clubhouse, please go ahead on and put some green hearts in the chat. That's right. It is an amazing day for us all to come together to bring about this self-love, self-care. It's all about Gratitude Tuesday, baby. And I'm so excited that we're going to be not only...
Can you turn up the volume a bit, please? Thank you.
Okay. It's not only going to be an amazing time for us. What I'll do, I'll unmute myself. How about that? Can you guys hear me in the clubhouse now? Can you guys hear me in the clubhouse? If you can hear me in the clubhouse, let's put some green hearts in the chat. Please, let's put some green hearts in the chat. It's an amazing day, and we're looking so forward to our special guest is going to be joining us today. So without further ado, let us bring up some of our amazing ladies that always know how to bring the energy to the stage for our Gratitude Tuesday. Our first and our truly foremost amazing Miss Gracian Jean-Pierre just returned from Germany. And oh my goodness, it's going to be so exciting seeing her great face hit the stage. Miss Gracian, are you here? Hey, gorgeous, how are you doing? Can you hear me, Gracian? We can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
I'm doing wonderful, Renee. Wonderful.
Yes!
I am so excited to be here. I miss you guys so much. And I thought about you guys every Tuesday and send you love and light. Germany was wonderful. It was a treat. I was visiting my in-laws, and we got to travel a bit. Let me just stop this feedback.
Okay. Well, I must say, Germany looks good on you, okay? It looks really good on you, beauty.
Yes. It's good to be in Europe. The European lifestyle is a little bit better than American lifestyle when it comes to taking care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And just on Sunday, everything is closed. You know, you cannot go to the store or to the market or anything like that. So really on Sunday, you really stay home and really enjoy family, bringing people in, cooking and sharing love and appreciation for life. So yeah. I'm super excited about this topic today.
I am also, and I would agree. Living in Europe is totally different from the United States. You know, the food, the quality of food, you could tell a whole difference. I lived in Paris for about 30 days. Well, I visited Paris about 30 days, and it was night and day. When I came back to the United States, I didn't want to eat anything. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't want to touch not one thing, not even the bread. Yeah. And I'm so happy that we have you back at home. Oh my goodness. Let's bring up the other sisters. How about that? Let's bring up our other beautiful sisters. The next beauty we have, oh my goodness, she always knows how to bring the energy no matter where she is. She's our mompreneur that knows how to also slay any opportunity with her winning spirit. The lady herself, Miss Mary Kim.
Hello, ladies. So nice to see your faces. Oh welcome back. We missed you. It was not the same, but we try to hold it down in your absence. So lovely that you had a great day.
Yes.
So
And then we bring up our amazing queen all the way from Las Vegas, the one and only, ooh, Miss Janet. Where did she go? Where did she go?
Whoa!
Oh, there she is. Hey, Miss Janet, how are you doing, darling? How are you?
I am good. I'm so excited. Wow. Do we have
Let's see, we have a couple of mics open. Let's see.
let me shut my mic down. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you crystal clear. Guys, if you're in the clubhouse, if you can hear our Janet, let's put some green hearts in the chat. Oh, yeah, they said we can hear you, Janet. Let's put some green hearts in the chat. Yes. Hey, Miss Janet, you're looking fire hot over there as well, beauty. How are you?
I am good. Grateful for today and the topic self-love. Oh my goodness, that is so important that we love ourselves. It starts with us, right?
That's
For
right.
our environment, for our energy to change, it has to change in here within us. And self-love is the first thing to transformation for the better. And I'm so excited to hear from our special guest today because learning new techniques, we are going to be learning something new to apply to self-love when it comes to us. So I'm so excited to share mine. Gratitude is one and only gratitude for my body and for everything around me that I have.
And it shows very well. It shows very well, Janet. Yes, it does. Well, guys, how about this? As Miss Janet already said, we have a special guest. Miss Mary Kim, why don't you welcome our amazing special guest to the table with us today?
yes, I'm super excited. I met this beautiful, strong, inspiring, empowering woman on Clubhouse. Just how we all met here in this little space here. Clubhouse is an amazing space to utilize to connect with people that you resonate with. And Miss Lauren Patterson is truly amazing. She wrote this during the pandemic, Freeing Your Heart for Love. It's a memoir, and she shares her journey. And through her journey, she discovered herself. She discovered self-love, self-care, and self-empowerment. And that's my vibe. And just to get a little glimpse, and she can explain more about a summary of her book, but in the grip of her husband's illicit fantasies, a young woman fights to find her voice. And that is about standing in your truth and just finally owning who you are. But we know all that takes a lot of work. And through this book, not only is she a bestseller, she has a podcast. She's inspiring women every single day, but this is also what birthed her nonprofit. So, Lauren, welcome to the GW3. We are so excited to highlight you, your journey, and just, introduce yourself. And I love that you have time today for us.
Yes, thank you. Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I was loving all the intros and the beginning of the show. It's very inspiring. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story.
So what made you write this book, Lauren?
Oh, gosh. In 2020, when the pandemic started, I just got laid off from a job. And I joined this virtual writing workshop just for fun. I was in the healthcare industry with a lot of doctors and nurses, and they were all joining this workshop for fun. It was through work. So I said, you know what, that sounds like fun. That sounds like something I could do to take my mind off of what's going on in the world. So I joined this workshop, and they would give us writing prompts. And the moderator would ask who wants to share. And I would always raise my hand because why not, right? So I was never a writer. I never thought in a million years I could write anything in my life. So I started doing these writing prompts, and it opened up this creative part of my brain that I didn't even know was there. It was like locked up in a box. And this workshop was the key. And so I started writing these prompts, and I was just crying one day at the table after this workshop. And I was telling my husband, I'm like, I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm so emotional because I was writing about a lot of past experiences. So when I was sharing these experiences, I would actually cry, and I just opened up my computer. It really was kind of downloaded to me. I didn't even know I was still going to write a book, but I opened my computer and I said, I think I think I should write my story, because everybody had always told me throughout the years, when they hear my experiences, especially with relationships, that you should write a book. And I would get that all the time, but I would just laugh at them like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to write a book. Never. And that's how the book was birthed, was literally just the workshop.
I love that. I remember growing up, my mom used to say never. And I was like, oh, what does she know? Right. But that came to haunt me as an adult when I worked on myself after leaving a 10-year relationship, and all the things I said never to, I actually did. So it's so powerful that you decided, but it also was just a natural thing. You wasn't planning it, but sometimes we go into these spaces and there's this feeling inside of us. But so kudos to you for leaning into that. And can you share, since we're talking about self-care and self-love, at what moment did you really lean into that? Which I know you share, because I could not put her book down. So it's truly won't be able to put it down. But if you could share with the audience, like, what is it that broke that barrier for you to lean into yourself and have your voice? Like, what part broke that and made you become who you are today?
You know, I think the biggest thing for me was the forgiveness part, because at this part of my journey, I was already healed from all of those bad relationships that I went through, and the 3 divorces and my 3rd husband, which was the worst part of the book. I was at this part where I needed to forgive myself, but most importantly, forgive those men. And so this forgiveness was like, I think, the power in this book, and also because I knew that I wanted to help another woman that was going through similar struggles. So that was clear in my mind. So I had those things clear in my mind. And then I just dove into writing the book. I started it in July of 2020 and I finished it in December of 2020. I mean, it was literally that fast. And like I said, it was downloaded to me. I mean, I started meditating to get through this book. There was a spiritual awakening I had to write this book. And some of the parts of the book, I don't even remember writing. It was as if I was a different person. Because I go back and I read it, I'm like, wow, I wrote that. So it was very cathartic writing this story. And I started writing it, like I said, for others, but then it eventually turned into also writing for myself.
Yes. There's true, like journaling, there's power in journaling. There's power in gratitude and writing things down. So like you went through your own healing process and rediscovery, I'm sure, with writing this book organically.
Yes, definitely.
And then I know if you want to share, like your nonprofit was birthed out of this book, out of the movement of this book, to continue to inspire women and the youth. You want to share a little bit about your nonprofit?
Yeah. So after I wrote the book, I wanted to help more. I knew that I was done with the book. I've always been the type of person to do so much. Like my life has always been so busy and I'm always driven. Like I was even told by a manager of mine, you're too driven, you're too motivated. I pushed that to the side and kept going. Like her words actually powered me to be more driven. So I've always had this in my spirit. And I knew that after the book, I was like, I want to help more people. How can I do that? So I launched the podcast. It was the podcast first. And then I was like looking to be like podcast guest everywhere, share my story. And I came across this lady who was looking for podcast guests for her nonprofit. She had a nonprofit podcast. And I was like, you know what? I don't have a nonprofit, but maybe she can help me with mine. Because what I was doing, Mary Kim, was I was trying to get onto all these other nonprofits. I was trying to gift my book. I was trying to get onto the board, like anything and everything I can do to help other organizations, until one day, one lady came to me and said, why don't you just do your own thing? And that stuck with me. And I said, you know what? Why don't I just do my own thing? I'm going to do my own thing because that's what I'm going to do. And so I just, whenever I have this in my mind, just like the book, anything I do, I power through it and I get it done. I have a goal and I move towards it and I take action. And that's the biggest thing, is the action. I don't just wait for people to just come and give it to me. I actually go after it. So my mindset, just started going into this spiral, and I met this lady and she helped me. She helped me from start to finish to get my 501c3. And we launched this year in January of this year, Show Up in Love.
I love it. I love it. I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad I met you. You're so inspiring. And we should all take that lesson. I need to just do it. You know, it's kind of like how my son looks at everything. Like, nothing is impossible. Because I tell him nothing's impossible. So when he actually says, well, can I do a 501(c)(3)? Can I do this? Can I grow my hair so I can donate? I can't say no that I've been pouring into him for almost 10 years. I have to just do it. So I think that's a good mindset, and not worry or fear, and just be grateful in that space, you know, to help inspire another person. So I love that. I don't know if anyone else has any questions I want to pour into Lauren.
Absolutely. I would love to pour into Lauren. You know, you said some great things, and thank you so very much, Mary Kim, for even bringing Lauren here. You know, you said the powerful word of forgiveness. You know, not only is forgiveness probably one of the richest words we possibly can process with our daily life, you know, not only forgiving someone who's probably caused harm, but also just forgiving ourselves also for acting in a certain way. But I love how you said you empowered yourself to press forward, to press through. And, you know, you just had to trust the process. And look at what has happened in such a short period of time. You know, we always try to push things off, but if we just stick to the main thing, getting that main thing done, we can be having more results as opposed to incompletes. You know, it's all about the completion. So congratulations to you, not only having the courage to complete your journey with this book, but also having the love and the passion for getting it done. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I actually put out a second book this year, A Heartology, because it's like I said, it's this creative part of my brain that I've always had, but now I'm surrounding myself with right-minded people, I call them, because they're a bunch of writers and authors. And now I just can't stop writing. I just write every single day, and I'm coming up with these poetry pieces. I never in a million years thought I would write poetry. And now I'm writing poetry. So it's like truly amazing, like what I'm doing with this creative side of me. I didn't even know it was there, to be honest. I was just like, wow, where is this coming from?
Well, we're loving that it's there. We're loving that it's there. Guys, if you're enjoying Lorraine's story, please, let's put some green hearts in the chat. Let's put some green hearts everywhere, guys. Whether you're on Facebook, whether you're right here in the Clubhouse, or you're right with us on YouTube, because this story is so remarkable. Please, ladies, continue. Ms. Gracian, or even Ms. Janet.
Yes, definitely. You know, thank you so much for coming in here today and sharing your story with us. When you were talking about your relationship and the thought of forgiving yourself to be able to forgive others and moving forward, to push forward, one thing that's come across to me when it combined with gratitude is that when we don't forgive ourselves, first and foremost, we cannot show that grace to ourselves and be able to show that grace to other people. And the one other thing you said, it's about showing and opening up your voice and showing and who you are. I think that's how I interpreted when you were speaking. And it is so important when you start loving yourself, regardless of how you are and how you represent, you are able to be authentically and present yourself the way you feel comfortable. And doesn't matter what others or whatever is coming through, but as long as you're doing something positive and something graceful and something to add to humanity, you come out of love, it just flows. And that's what I got from you describing your book and how your creativity just flow, because your authenticity, who was hiding somewhere in that subconscious, was free to come out, was released. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Gracian. Lorraine, my name is Janet Alvarado, and I hope we can connect because your mission is so similar to mine. And I just love that you said you started something new. See what happened when you started something new? It started opening up the creativity part of your brain. And look what you have accomplished because of it. You made, and not just that, but you took action on it. A lot of people are scared to take action. They're like, oh, what, me, a writer? No, me a poet? No, we don't see ourselves until we start taking action. And when we start taking action, um, things start to develop. So I so appreciate you mentioning that. And the other thing I appreciate is that you said forgiveness. The importance of forgiveness is big. Not a great just gratitude, but that is one big aspect of transforming and just life opening up to you. And when you said you meditated and you had a spiritual awakening, I so resonated with you because I too, that's where my life changed, is when I started meditating and having that awakening spiritually, and it just life started becoming amazing. And so we continue to grow and glow, like they say. So I so appreciate you being here. And I just wanted to ask you, what for our listeners out there, for the women out there that can't understand how to love themselves, what are a couple of things you can suggest that are
Yeah,
in your
that's a good question. So I have a self-love toolbox now, is what I call it. And in this toolbox, I started building it up over the years. But when I first started learning how to love myself, it was actually somebody like me was teaching me. And I remember this lady, she was a dear friend of mine. We're not friends anymore. Unfortunately, we had a falling out, but she introduced me to one person, Louise Hay, who is a Hay House author. She passed away. But when I discovered Louise Hay, that woman was all about love. Like, she embodied love and she just like exuded it. And when I met her, I was like, wow, I am going to follow her teachings for the rest of my life. And I just started practicing what she teaches, which is affirmations. And it seems easy, but it really isn't, because you can say something, but you also have to believe it. And I kept saying it over and over and over again. I don't care how many times I needed to say it, but the one thing I kept saying was, I love myself. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of love. And I would repeat that every single day, sometimes 10, 15, 20 times a day, however much it took me to really believe that, to believe that affirmation. And then I would just move into like positive quotes. And then I kind of stepped it up now, and I do like meditation for 20 minutes every morning. I don't do anything for the first hour of my morning. I do my meditation. I read my positive quotes. I have all these apps on my phone where I can get inspired. But that's the first thing I do in the morning, so that I can ground myself for the day. I can, deal with the challenges, because my life's not perfect. I still have my challenges. I still have my moments. I still have the moments when I feel down. Even with all of this success I have, I still feel like I don't deserve it sometimes. And sometimes I just want to give up. Just the other day, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore, because there's a lot of like outside distractions. And I start comparing myself, because it goes back to that inner child work that I'm actually still dealing with. I'm 50 years old. I just turned 50, and I'm still dealing with that childhood trauma that I had when I was young. So it's like every day is work, and I just work. I work on it. I pull back from things that don't serve me. I let go of the little things, because it's just the little things. And I try to move on, and I try to focus on, what can I do to help inspire the world? What can I do to put more love into the world? And what can Lauren do? Don't worry about what other people are doing, And so that's really kind of what's helping me right now, is being a new entrepreneur. I mean, it's hard sometimes.
Well, you have so much courage, Lorraine, and just looking at your book, we all have to get that book in our hands, Mary Kim. We're going to have to do that, because it really would also help us to really truly connect with you as well. But your courage, your strength. And I love the fact that you're just authentic, because you are not sugarcoating what you literally have to go through. And that's what people don't understand. It's not always about the shiny object. It's truly about getting down in the grit, getting those knees dirty, as they would say, in order for you to pull through to find your other side. And still, we have sometimes those items that make us want to go backwards to remember some of those self-sabotaging activities. So that's why we have to really push forward even more so. And as I share with you, you have so much courage. We not only are proud of you, we honor you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm loving.
Oh, sorry, Mary Kim. I just wanted to say something real quick. Lauren, you said you're 50?
Yeah, I just turned 50.
I thought you, when you first came, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so young. How's she gonna know self-love? But
Yeah. I'm a grandma. I have 2 grandchildren and my 4 boys. My oldest is 32.
you look amazing, amazing, Lauren.
Yes. Well, Lauren, we would love to invite you to Atlanta. You know, I'm going to already say it. We would love to invite you to Atlanta. We'll have so many of the other authors that's going to be signing their books, but we would love to also invite you to the Power to Soar Leadership Conference that's going to be taking place on the 19th. And of course, the whole night is all geared towards our powerful authors. And you'll have an opportunity of meeting some of the greatest, just as yourself as well. So we can help your book become the best-selling book out there. Let's do it, ladies, right? Let's make it happen. Woo!
Yeah.
You guys have me almost crying because, you know, all I wanted all my life was supportive women. And meeting Mary Kim has been amazing. And Kiki, if you're listening, oh my gosh, I love them so much. But now she's brought me into to meet you guys. So I'm really thankful.
Exactly. Well, we're
Lauren,
so
you gotta
honored to
come
have you here.
to
Yes,
Atlanta.
go ahead, Miss Janet or Mary Kim. I can't tell, you both sound alike
Sorry.
sometimes.
I didn't mean to cut anyone off. I apologize. But yes, that's such an amazing idea. Lauren, you need to come to Atlanta. It's a 3-day event. Get to showcase your book. And there's so much more. Like there's 3-day events of just empowering and connecting. And the energy and spirit that you felt in this space and on Clubhouse is really how it is in person. I've got an opportunity to meet Renee and some of the other warriors in person in New York twice now, 2 or 3 times. So yeah, definitely get a trip. You can get good flights. Yeah, I'm gonna see you there. So I'm super excited. But I want to add just one other thing that I love how you said, you know, affirmations and pouring into yourself is an everyday practice. Even when I've been practicing gratitude since my early 20s, and I'm gonna be 50 this year, so that's about 30 years. But today I still find there are days that, you know, I'm not feeling all that gratitude, even though I'm grateful. But you know, life is challenging. Things that we're, you know, as entrepreneurs, as moms, as parents, as caretakers, whatever our role.
A lot of things, but not many deliver. And you have been a true friend from day one, and this would not have been possible without you. And
I don't know where that's coming from, but either we all have to work on things, and so it's a constant thing as well. Like just because you've gone through that journey and you feel confident, it doesn't mean that you have to not pour more stuff into yourself, but also allow yourself that
Hey
grace.
guys, just bear with us. We're going with a little bit of
I'm very critical about myself, and so me allowing myself to be graceful about my journey and accepting what I need to do to help keep empowering myself and keep me motivated is so important. So Lauren, I'm so glad that you shared that today. That's a constant work in progress.
Yeah. And like you said, every day I literally have to pour it into myself every single day. And it helps me get through the day, because there's so many things that will get thrown at me where I'm like, oh, whoa, where did that come? Or where did that feeling come from? Or why did that person make me feel that way? That person didn't make. So I'm constantly like talking to myself, which is another tip. Like just look in the mirror. Mirror work is so powerful. Look in the mirror and talk to yourself and just like motivate yourself, because it really is. It starts with you. I mean, I believe we are responsible for our own happiness. I was relying my happiness.
Hey guys, can you hear my voice?
Yeah.
Can you hear my voice? It's so funny.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yeah.
I can't hear you all. I'm actually reading your lips right now. Okay. So we can't really hear you, but that's okay. Continue on speaking. For those who are in the Clubhouse, if you cannot hear, just tune into the link at the top, and you'll definitely be able to hear this particular episode. And I'm so grateful to Mary Kim, alongside with Lauren, as well as Janet, as also as Gracian, continuing with this particular segment, and we'll work on the sound momentarily. But continue on Mary Kim, and then what we'll be preparing to do is welcoming our next guest, Dr. Zudian Coleman. Okay, continue.
Oh,
Awesome.
and Mary Kim, today is my 3rd year wedding anniversary with my husband.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
This is the guy that changed the game. But did you meet him after you've gone through your healing journey?
Yes. That actually, after I started dating myself in 2017, I had a boyfriend. I was one step closer to getting that person that I really wanted to be with, because I knew I was clear on who I wanted to be with. Yeah. So I had written it down, and I'm like, this is the guy that I want to be with. And after I started dating myself for a little while, I was by myself. I did the healing. I started loving myself. That's when I met my husband. I met him in 2017, and we got married in 2019, August 9th, 2019.
I love it. They say, Steve Harvey said it best. You can't, if you've got the broken car in the driveway, you're not getting a new car until you move that thing out of the driveway so there's space. So It's so empowering that you said that you healed yourself, you worked on yourself, you concentrated on yourself to become who you want to be. And you were like, you know what, I'm going to concentrate on this. And then that person comes into your life. Mm-hmm. I love that. There's still hope for me. No.
There's hope for everybody. I mean,
I know it's out there for everyone. You will get everything that your heart desires.
And you know what, too, Mary Kim, if you want to be by yourself for the rest of your life, that's okay. But I knew what you have to know is what you want. And I knew I deserved a man that loved me unconditionally. And not that I needed a man to make me happy, because I knew that at that point. But he adds to my life. He doesn't take away anymore. And I used to be with these men that would take away, but it was also all about what I was dealing with mentally. I was just in a very bad place. So that healing all took place in 2020, 2021. Even now, I mean, I'm just stepping up this level of awakening, and it's truly amazing. It's like I'm looking at the world through another set of eyes, because I appreciate and I value life so much that even the littlest thing, like an ant crawling on a flower this morning, I'm like, oh my God, that's so fascinating. You know, I'm just like, wow. So,
I think one thing that you say, Lauren, that kind of resonates is like we have the choice to create the life that we want. Mm-hmm. So by allowing people to come in and take some of the part of ourselves, that's when we do that work and acknowledge and become aware this is what's happening, we are able to heal ourselves. Then we are open for that right person to come in, and add to our life. It's not that some people go through life without even getting married. They are happy within themselves and being by themselves. But if you choose to pick someone to be in your life, you have to do that work, because you have to really know what you want. Because take, for example, when you go to the grocery store, you don't know what you want, and you go there in an empty stomach, you pick up all the junk food in the world. But if you know exactly what you want, you know the recipe, and you know what you need in that recipe to make that food taste good, you have a different focus. So,
yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I can hear you guys again. I just want you to know I can hear you guys again. It makes me feel special. Okay. Because at first I wasn't able to hear you all at all. So it's absolutely wonderful. You know what we're going to do? Because I'm enjoying this conversation, Lauren. If you can continue on staying, what we want to do is bring up our doctor, who is not only a dear, dear person that's been with us since, I guess, now almost 5 years, Dr. Zudian Coleman. We love to bring her up to the stage. And what we'll love to do is continue on with this conversation. We're just at the dinner table. We're just having our ladies' cocktail. There she is. Not only is Dr. Zudian is one of our chiropractors, she's right out of Atlanta, Georgia, graduate from Howard University. And sometimes we already know that self-care comes alongside with how we take care of ourselves also. So Dr. Zudian, how are you doing today, beautiful?
Hi, Dr. Zudian.
I am doing great. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. How
are
you?
I'm doing excellent. You guys look great in your green. It's giving off great energy. And thank you for having me on your show.
Well, you're looking spectacular yourself, doctor. And I know you have done such an amazing journey in your life. You know, not only have you you're originally from Jamaica, and I want to say that you have traveled the world, coming from Africa, alongside with just doing it up. I mean, I thought you were in Ghana as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, actually, I've had several attempts to get to Ghana, and I kind of say, you know what, let me just go with the universe, and I end up in Tanzania and Zanzibar. But the Ghana trip is still coming up in the end of the year.
Well, you know, I just want to say we're proud of you taking on the responsibility of not only being a woman in power, but becoming the doctor that you are. And, you know, I was talking to Janet. Janet's like, I know I'm going to come to Atlanta and I'm going to have someone to take care of my back, my shoulders, my arms, all of it, as, you know, as you, of course, being a chiropractor that you are. Share with us, why was it so important for you to find your way? And this is definitely your calling, but why did you find your way in this? What about it really moved you to become a chiropractor? Please share.
Well, to give you a little background, coming from Jamaica, I'm from Manchester, Mandeville, Manchester, which is kind of like the little Britain. It's raining, it's cold, and it's cold. So I always had a cold. Always feel like I was at the doctor's office, the pediatrician. And, you know, I was exposed to both allopathic medicine and also the herbal side of things. My grandparents, specifically my grandfather, after realizing as at an older age that he was the herbalist in the family, he knew all the different plants, all the different natural things that can help with healing. And usually that was the first line of defense before, you know, if things didn't work out, then, you know, we end up going to Dr. Prasad, which means injections and medication and stuff. And that wasn't so fun for me as a child. But, you know, I realized how it saved my life in many cases. And so being exposed to, you know, wellness in both aspects, whether it's allopathic and naturally, I think, you know, it's just, I feel like God already had this in my script. I had an uncle that was an athlete, a very well-known athlete in Jamaica, and he would have me at, you know, 6-year-old walking on his back. You know, the concept of chiropractic was not even a word. I don't even think we Jamaicans knew what chiropractor was or had it, you know, none of those things. But all I knew is when I walked on his back, he felt better. And that was just something, you know, I liked doing as a kid. Who knew that I was going to actually get into the field of chiropractic, not necessarily walking on anybody's back, but, you know, helping people be in their best self and perform at their optimum. And, you know, it took a while to fine tune what it is that I was going to be, because it wasn't all there at that age. It was just, you know, I feel like as having, you know, Caribbean parents, they probably already said, you're going to be a doctor, but what kind wasn't clear. And it was through my experiences, you know, breaking a leg at 4 years old, being very sick all the time, having grandparents that were more holistic, and, you know, walking on my uncle's back and just seeing him performing even better, because everybody's like, you know, we need you back on the field. And, you know, that was just something that I looked forward to. So I think all that was developed in me, just nurturing and helping people and getting the, I guess, the energy of doing that. And, you know, chiropractic really also resonates with me because there's spirituality behind it, along with the science. And that worked well for me, because what it is saying is that what I learned, the philosophy behind the science of chiropractic, is that the innate in you is what does the healing. So as a doctor, I don't take the credit for the healing process. I am just there to remove the interference. And so once I take that perspective, I allow the body and the energy and the power within the body to heal itself. And today we're actually talking about love and loving and self-love. And that is the same innate power inside of you that's actually making chemical changes and you know, making physical changes. So it's just, you know, just crazy how full circle that is. It works in my spirituality, knowing that, you know, God or the innate in me is actually healing my body, and I feel the same for my patients. And you know, I let them know that healing starts in the mind. Healing starts with you. Healing starts with how you think. Yeah.
Absolutely, and appreciate how you just broke that down for us. You know, we understand that you have those healing hands. And, you know, as you said, it's not so much about you, but it is about the process. And I'm glad that you found your gift, that you found your calling. And, you
Thank
know,
you.
I can see, you know, I see, I remember George Jefferson. I'm going to make everybody laugh. George Jefferson used to step on the guy's back when his back would go
Yeah.
out, remember? So now that we have a chiropractor, nobody have to step on anybody's back, I hope, right? You
I
know,
tell you, I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot of comedy behind chiropractic, but you know, there's a lot of seriousness too. I find that as the profession gets a chance to show the signs and the real reason why people get so much help when they get chiropractic, and it may not be for everybody. You know, it's just like anything else. But once we educate the world more about how they can self-heal, how they, you know, a lot of the healing process starts with you, and you know, love, self-love, and all that all ties in into taking responsibility for your health, responsibility for your livelihood, and you know, so that you are responsible for your outcomes. So, you know, being proactive in wellness and preventive is super important. Um, you know, being in love with yourself is super important. I don't know how much you want me to get into self-love, but you know, just let me know because I can keep talking.
Well, you know what? I love this. You know, the whole premise behind today is about gratitude, and not only
Mhm.
gratitude, but also the process of what we do. You talk about the healing from within. Of course, everything
Mhm.
comes with that mindset, you know, how we really analyze things and how we put things into motion. And then also how we have that calming spirit over, you know, over what we're experiencing. I would love
Mhm.
for you to do this because, as you notice, since 2020, there's been more people that have been now sitting watching us on TV. How about that? They've been
Yeah.
sitting tuned into the clubhouse, or they have just been sitting. Share with us
Mhm.
some of the ways that we can, you know, what are some of the things that we probably want to realign ourselves in order for us to live a healthier lifestyle, since we're talking about that self-care and that self-love.
Absolutely. So, you know, loving yourself and healing yourself and being healthy all starts with movement. You know, everything, life is about movement. So if you're not moving, you're creating stagnant environment. And so even as a chiropractor, the adjustment is what we consider a very specific movement into areas that where people may be stuck or may be restricted, or in other words, in our field, we call it subluxated. So that means that the energy that's flowing through your body is not able to get where it needs to go. In some cultures, they'll say that, you know, the chakras, you know, not open and it's closed. So movement is super important. And I think that as kids, you know, when we're younger, we do a lot of movement. We have a lot of vitality, and you can see how it's a different experience than when you get older and things start to lock up because we're not moving enough, or a lifestyle, or just being in a job for 20 something years where you're sitting and not moving, or maybe just probably I would say, you know, doing the same thing for a lot of time, for, you know, a long time, no change in the patterns. And so your body gets, we call overuse syndrome. Even your brain, if you're doing the same thing every day and you're not, you know, changing it up a little bit, that could also lead to issues later on in life, as far as, you know, brain issues. So, you know, if you are the kind of person that takes the same route home all the time, you know, change it up. If you, you know, if you like to sit one direction at your job, at your computer, every so often change up the room so you're not right dominant. You're not looking to the left all the time. You're not looking to the right all the time. Or, you know, how you position your computer is not creating more musculoskeletal issues as you're sitting in bad posture. So movement is important. Changing up the patterns are important. And, you know, keeping in mind that, you know, listen to your body is super important. We don't listen to our body anymore. I think a lot of times when we get stuck, when we get in that inflammation stage, what we do is we run for a quick fix. And that is probably like a pill, or we may slap some heat on it, or, you know, whatever, to not pay attention to it anymore. But the problem is still there. And in order to deal with that, you have to keep taking that pill, or, you know, just doing these superficial things to, you know, compensate. So with chiropractic, it's important that we address things from the real cause. And I think that is why we, you know, we address things a little different than most people. It's still giving the same results where, you know, the person has a relief, but it's just creating motion and movement in the body, whether it's the muscles, or creating motion or movement in the body in your thought, maybe changing, you know, to positive thinking, you know, or maybe it's changing how your body moves, or how your nutrition affects your body. You know, eating clean and allowing proper circulation so that the food and the micronutrients can get where they are. So movement is essential in everything. And proper posture, you know, it doesn't have to be complicated to understand this, that structure affects function. So the function part is the moving part. And so if the structure is off, then the function is going to be off. Would you guys agree with me? So that is why, just at the basic of anything, like the basic lay person can understand that if their car is offline, that the car will still function, but you will wear and tear on your tires. It will fall apart in certain areas that, you know, as a woman, I don't even want to hear any clicking or clacking in my car, because that could mean going to some place where it's going to cost me some money. So I do a lot of preventive care for my car, and just like I do preventive care for my body. If that little light comes up that says something's going wrong, I get it checked right away. I don't just cover it up and keep moving, because I know it will cost me down the line. So the same thing with your body, you know, with care and self-care. It's so important that we move, because we're getting very, you know, well, I'm a 70s baby, so, you know, we know how to get outside and scab your knee and run around and, you know, activities. But the new generation, they're so, they're so stagnant. They're in a chair. They have chairs where they can just keep their head in one place, which, you know, is probably better than slumping in a couch. And they're on the games, and they're on their phone, and they're on their iPads, and not doing any talking, not moving any, you know, air through their lungs, and, you know, stuff like that. So these are some things that I teach my clients, you know, young and old, to do now, because the younger people are getting old people syndromes, and the older people are at a stage where they want to move and be have more vitality. So movement is important. Structure is important. And your emotional well-being is important.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, guys. So you see why it's important that we wake up at a certain time every day, but we do what? We get that body moving as soon as you wake
Yoga,
up.
stuff like that.
And,
Yeah.
you know, one of the great things I was hearing what you said as well, for is how we're sitting, the posture, the importance of probably even, as who was that? That would be Miss Jackie. Keep that stomach held in while you're sitting up. So
Right.
therefore you're not slouching, keeping those shoulders back. Everybody know I tell them, keep those shoulders back, keep your head up, because then that way they keep you in that structure. Because what we don't realize, if we don't do it now, we're going to pay for it later.
Later. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to pay for it later. I mean, I think it's wonderful for all of us to get our bodies aligned, because I know I have, you know, had to have my body aligned. And it was so funny, because it's like, you probably walk with a little bit of drop. I said, yeah, I do. He said, I'm going to shift that back up, so therefore you can walk like straight. And we don't even think about the little small stuff. You know, when you see somebody walking, you think they're switching. They're not
Yeah.
switching. They need to have the proper alignment, guys. I'm telling you, that's
Yeah.
sometimes where it stems from, right, Dr. Zulian?
Absolutely right. And it could be just a hairline that's of being off that does that. You might not feel it, but over time it wears and tears on different parts of your body. And I actually have to say one more thing, that it wasn't until I was doing modern dance at Howard University that I found out that I had scoliosis. So I went through a whole almost, well, I was probably like 20 something years old. And just finding out that I had scoliosis. But guess what? If it hadn't been for the fact that my mom always had me in activities, being Jamaican, we're always in track and field or some kind of sports, or the fact that I was doing a lot of modern dance and those things. Those were the things that actually saved me and allowed me to still have, proper posture and was able to make sure my cores were not weak, so I wasn't slumping. I remember doing some dance classes, and my teacher was like, your form is a little off, and that's when I ended up getting evaluated by a female chiropractor, which I never met a female chiropractor before at all. I don't even think I knew what a chiropractor was then. Yeah, at Howard, I didn't know what a chiropractor was then. And she told me that, I had a slight differential measurement in my leg. And that was what's throwing off my hips. That's translated through my spine. And, I always remembered, like, when I'm studying, I get this really burning sensation between my shoulder blades. And that was actually a slight scoliosis. That came from me breaking my leg at 4 years old. And, all those little tiny things that happen to us as we were younger, if they don't get addressed early, they can show up later on in life, when somebody who knows what you're looking for or looking at say, hey, you have scoliosis. Now I look at my body a little bit different. When I'm exercising, I'm exercising the weak side of my scoliosis. Now I have intention to what I'm doing. When I'm eating, I think about what would help my body to, be more relaxed and less inflammatory foods. And, if I see myself stressing or, like the pain is starting to come up, I start doing more stretches and breathing exercise. And I actually just got over COVID. I would say I just officially got over COVID a couple of days ago. And my first experience with COVID, and it was an eye opener, because when you're sick, you're always lying around, and that is another stagnant kind of situation that you don't want to be in. So what I started doing is getting outside early in the morning, no matter how bad I felt, get out in the sun and walk around on the grass barefoot, and just doing all this extra stuff. I had no idea I had beautiful birds and little squirrels in the backyard. I'm always just in and out of the house. So I got a chance to slow self-love through this whole experience and get my vitamin D naturally through the sun, walk on on the grass, and it was just a really eye-opening experience, because I don't think I have actually went this deep in self-love, even though I was sick and I felt lower in energy and frequency. All the things that I did, even, the supplements and the things that I had to take, were all working together to get me back to, a higher frequency. And the movement was so important, getting out and just walking and doing that breathing exercise. Even now, I'm still doing breathing exercises because, it did put a toll on my lungs. And so I'm so motivated right now to start coming up with a protocol post-COVID situations. Like, how do you heal your body and do self-love after having COVID? And there's going to be a lot of people who could benefit from this, because now there are people who have long-term COVID where they're still having issues, they're still coughing, they're still having back pain and all that stuff. And they're wondering, what can I do? Is it popping a pill that's going to make this, get any better? or stretching or doing some self-love and, you know, eating foods that are less, you know, mucousy and inflammatory. So I'm working on, I guess, a webinar that will, you know, teach people about foods to eat, nutrition they can do to help post-COVID, or just even to prevent, you know, exercises they can do, breathing exercises, and, you know, the power of movement and chiropractic and, you know, all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited about reinventing a new love story, even after COVID, self-love. Yes.
Oh my goodness, guys. Let's go ahead on and give us some green hearts. Now, you know, congratulations on just finding your voice again. And I'm just hearing you, you know, guys, it's been 1 full year since I've seen this beauty queen, a full year. And she's like, it's power to soar again. I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's been like already 365 days go by so fast. So Lorraine, you have to come to meet Dr. Zudian, okay? That part. Not only she's going to show us some tips, she's going to also provide us with some incitement on what we should avoid eating, those mucus foods. And I know for sure Gracian is just smiling. She's like, oh, yes, I'm loving this. No more pills, no more aspirins, no more medicine. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Go ahead, ladies. Let's pour right into Dr. Zudian, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Z, because I saw you said it's okay to call you by Dr. Z. So it's, you know, it's an honor to have you here with us on Gratitude Tuesday. And hearing your story, I'm from the island, I'm from Haiti, so it's another island girl, so I could relate with what you say about the kid walking in the back. So that's a common thing that
I've been to Haiti myself.
Yeah. So we one thing that you know, as a nurse practitioner, I really focus a lot about inflammation and really healing the body from the inside out. And one of the programs that I talked about is always about self-love and gratitude, that they have that mind-body approach. It's also important to healing as well as taking the allopathic medication. One thing about chiropractic that I admire, and I use chiropractic all the time in my practice and also for myself, because I remember being a child in Haiti. They used to have, I think they call them, here they would call them a masseuse, but they work more like a chiropractor because they would really help you to fix your bones and different things like that. And one of the course that I teach is about holistic breast health. And when you mention about fixing and adjusting, when it comes to the lymphatic system, where, you know, if you could comment a little bit about that, how chiropractic work really help with the lymphatic system. When you have lymphatic is not flowing very well around the heart area or in the breast area, there's stagnation. So can you explain a little bit more about how, because that's one of the things that I teach in the holistic breast health, and how, and I also refer patients to chiropractor to get them readjust so that the rib and things could flow better, because we have a lot of women in our in GW, so it really will be helpful for them to understand that, how that play into their breast health.
That is such a great question. And, you know, a lot of people don't even know we have a lymphatic system, you know, and it's really one of the most important system that we have, because it's part of your immune system. It is what I consider like your garbage collector. You know, you never want to be in an environment where no one is picking up the garbage and keeping things moving out of where it doesn't need to be. And so when you think of lymphatic system, movement is important. When you're not moving, your lymphatic system is basically not moving, because it does not have a pumping system like the arterial system or the circulatory system, where the heart is doing the pumping and things are moving around. So in the lymphatic system, you know, it's your muscles being contracting and relaxing that help that to move. And, you know, as we stop moving, the lymphatic system also becomes stagnant. So, you know, you've got, like I said, it is like your garbage collector. So you got garbage and stuff sitting around all over the place. And then the body's like totally using all the energy trying to figure out how to out those fires. And you wonder why you're swollen. why you don't have any energy. You wonder why you have a hard time getting over things. It's because your garbage guy haven't come to collect anything in so long, and you haven't been moving to help to facilitate those things. So as a chiropractor, the little motion that we do, even if we're adjusting with instrument or if we're adjusting with our hands, it's actually stimulating the nervous system, because we are stimulating the nerves and how they associate with the bone. So, when we're, we call it sphincterism, when we're opening up those chakras and allowing the nervous system to fire off and do what it needs to do, it also is helping the lymphatic system. When we're physically putting our hands on you and we making motion, especially in the rib area that's very restricted, that's also helping to create movement. And so overall, the modality that we're doing, the specific adjustment that is done, the stimulating the nervous system through chiropractic, all helps the lymphatic system, especially, as you were saying, women with breast issues, and it also affects men, because it affects all of us. It affects all of us. Yeah. The lymphatic system is one of those things that you don't want to have stagnant. The reason why I mentioned the women's situation is because, of course, when we wear bras and we create no movement around the breast, no movement in this rib area here, that could cause a lot of inflammation in those tissues. And, a lot of time it's just about not wearing that bra without, not wearing that bra with the things inside of them. I have ruined a couple of bras pulling iron, those iron metal things out, just because I know that, I'm at my age, I'm not worrying about sagging. When I was younger, all my bras were push up, and but now nothing is really, everything is in place, so I can go without. And so I make it an effort, and I tell my female patients too, to when you're home, to not have to wear those restricted clothing. Get out and jump on a trampoline or something. Like we have in my office here, something called vibrotherapy. And basically it's a cutting edge technology. It's very simple. It's a technology that they use in NASA for space travelers, the guys that go, the astronauts, because there is no gravity in space. Okay. They have to do something to exercise the muscles and create motion and make sure things are not stagnant. And so what they do is they use vibration for exercise, to exercise the muscles and increase circulation. So we're using the same technology here on Earth. We have gravity and we have the vibration, and that allows you to increase your lymphatic flow, work those muscles a little bit without having to do too much, especially the guys that are in a lot of pain. They don't even want to get out of the table. When they get on that vibrotherapy, it's called vibrotherapy, it helps, it does so much. I can't believe it. Like, people get off like, oh my God, my legs feel lighter, or they feel the circulation going in their feet. And so, they don't have to do much, and it's an easy way to get people moving in a very passive way. So, even in space, it's important to move, even though there's no gravity. And so it's one of those things that if we keep in mind that movement is life, then we're heading in the right direction. And so I thank you for asking me that question, because the lymphatic system is definitely just as important as all the other systems, like the nervous system and the circulatory system. Yes. Absolutely. I'm so happy that as a practitioner that you embrace incorporating so many different principles to help your patients, because I actually work for a medical doctor myself, just because he created that environment for all of us as practitioners to help that one patient in our different ways.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I would love to connect with you, because there's so much that you said that align with my integrative way of looking and treating patients. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Great question.
Hello, Dr. Coleman. This is Janet. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your wisdom and your gifts with us. And you mentioned something about when you were younger, how you were walking on the back of your grandfather or your father.
My uncle.
But I did the same thing, and I understand. I did that for my mother
Yes.
as well, and it really worked, and it helped. And you know, you don't know what you're gonna become later in life, but they say to look at when you were younger and what you loved doing, and that's and I love taking care of my mom and taking care of my brother.
Yeah.
So I'm a nurturer naturally. So I love that. Natural healing, you had mentioned the holistic healing. And I've been getting into discovering that since I turned 50 4 years ago. When
Wow, you great.
3 doctors, oh, thank you. 3 different doctors diagnosed me with 3 rheumatoid arthritis, genetic arthritis, and osteoarthritis. And once those 3 doctors could not figure out what I had, I decided I'm going to take my health into my own hands. So I started discovering holistic medicine and herbs and how the world is gonna naturally cure us. And we don't need all the chemicals that they're supplying us with. Just like I always said, if God didn't grow it, don't put it in your body. So
true.
I really appreciate that all the gifts that you just shared with us, with the foods, and you removing the interference from the body. That was so impactful. I love that. And I'm like, so thank you so much, Dr. Zudianne Coleman, for being here. And and I'm excited for you to come into our group and you know, share with us more, because like Gracian mentioned, there's so many women here who need that self-love, but our bodies and the importance of movement. And I wanted to ask you one thing. Now, when it does come to the importance of movement, what are the first things we should do when we get out of bed? So, because sometimes you just get up and ow, you know, or something. But what are important things we should do? Thank you.
All right, but you're welcome. That was an awesome question, and I'm glad you asked it. As a chiropractor, now that I know what I know, and we all knew all along, it's just, you know, we didn't make the connection. Well, look at the animals. What's the first thing they do when they get up? When they open their eye, you know, if you have a pet, what is the first thing they do? They stretch. They stretch. Even the animals, the cats, they're stretching. The dogs, they're stretching. The little, you know, they're stretching. Okay, because it's like a primitive thing already in their intelligence to do that. And as human beings that are on 2 feet, so we're not walking on 4s anymore, I'm not saying that we did before, but I'm just saying because of how we have developed and we're walking on forward, most of our weight is on certain areas of our spine. And not to forget that when you're sleeping, all of the fluid and the hydration from the spine goes into the interstitial areas to do other, you know, to help with other things. So that's one reason why you need to drink a lot of water before you and after you get up. You know, before you go to bed, drink a lot of water, drink a lot of, you know, it's always good to hydrate, because that water is what helps things to move in your body. So when you get up in the morning, your body is not necessarily ready for weight bearing because all the padding has been dried out. All, you know, just think about those discs in between your bone, like a sponge. It was full of water when you went to bed, but now that you've slept, a lot of things have been going on, some repair, some, you know, reconstruction. So it's pulling water from those areas. So by the time you wake up, it's depleted of its hydration. So how do you get moisture back into those sponge? You're moving, just like if you were to, you know, I always show people the an illustration. If you have like a bottle of water on top of a sponge that's filled with water, it just sits there on with the sponge in its full form. But if you let that bottle stay there long enough and the water dries out, so does the sponge. Okay, what do? If you add water to the periphery of the sponge and move the bottle around a little bit, the sponge starts to sap up the water from the periphery. This is the same thing that's happening in your body when you get up and you immediately stretch and take nice deep breaths and just start putting back motion in the spine and getting it ready for weight bearing. Because you've been lying down for a long time, and during the night, that's where all the reconstruction, all the repair, and all the things are happening in your body. And so it's pulling things from different places that it doesn't need at that point to do other important things. So when you wake up, it needs replenished. So you drink your water, you stretch, you do your breathing exercises, and that just fluffs up those discs and make them ready for weight bearing, jumping in the car, running to the gym and all that stuff. So you don't want to jump out of bed and go jogging without hydrating yourself and doing your stretches and get the moisture back from the periphery into those discs so that you can have your discs longer. Because people always think, as I get older, these discs are supposed to, degenerate. But it's a lack of maintenance that causes it to degenerate. And so we can slow down that process. You said, you mentioned about arthritis. Slowing down those processes, we sometimes can't reverse it, but we can slow them down by the foods we eat, by the motions that we're putting in our body, and by even self-talk positive things. Like, I don't like to talk about labels. I don't say, oh, you got degeneration of because my patients will walk around with this flag like, hey, I got this stuff, and therefore I'm limited. So I try not to create those flags that for them to walk around with, but give them solutions to be their better self and kind of like self-talk themselves into health. And that's still part of self-love. So it's just a matter of tricking the brain, really. Don't walk around saying I have X, Y, and Z, because it's just going to make that manifest more into your body. I just really believe that. It's there. Acknowledge it's there and start working proactively to counteract those things.
Did you say trick the brain? Did you say that?
Yeah, trick the brain.
Yes, trick that brain. And that is
it's
yeah. Go ahead.
Trick it.
Yeah,
no, I was just saying, even
it's
with
like certain words you got to use and certain words you got to take out of your vocabulary.
Yes.
We're reading the law of attraction. And what Micah was telling us in regard to using don'ts and, certain words you got to take out of your vocabulary, but also you got to trick the brain, because the brain won't know what it doesn't know, right? Until you
flip
feed
the script,
that energy and stay with that vibration. That was awesome. Oh my God.
Flip the script.
That was awesome. Now, we also have a special guest here, Miss Lorraine. Now, she is a New Time author, and my goodness, she was dropping in so much self-love. She has her new book that's out, and I'm sure she probably have a question for you as well. Is that right, Miss Lorraine?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm also part of the 50 Club, baby. She's a part of the 50 Club, too.
Congratulations on your book. Awesome.
Yeah, I was happy when I was listening to everything you were sharing that I'm actually practicing most of what you do. We go to chiropractor every 2 weeks, my husband and I. Right. And I was resonating with what you said about how you didn't know that you had scoliosis until you were dancing. And the reason why I went to chiropractor was because I lifted up, those wine refrigerators that you put bottles in? I thought I can lift the thing. So I lifted it up and I popped something in the middle of my back, and I just fell to the ground. I fell to the ground. But prior to that, for like a year, I had pain right here in my shoulder. And I just thought pain was normal. I didn't know. I never knew what a chiropractor was or what they did.
Right.
When I went to the chiropractor, she said, your neck is stuck forward. She did an x-ray. She said, your neck is stuck forward. And she adjusted me, and I never had any pain since then. But it wasn't until I picked up that refrigerator, because I wouldn't have gone to the chiropractor. So that whole thing resonated with me, and I love my chiropractor. She is amazing. She is just like my hips need a lot of adjusting.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, when I go, I stay healthy. I don't get sick. And the water, like I always have water first thing in the morning. Is the first thing I do is drink water, the first and the last. So like a lot of what you were saying, I'm already practicing because I 1,000% believe in holistic medicine and the whole mindset thing. I actually healed my rib cage. I hurt my rib cage in the bathtub. I fell, and I healed my rib cage by telling my body I allow my body to heal itself. And I just affirmed and I visualized my rib cage healing, and I was healed in like a week. I mean, it was like, it's magical what you can do to your thoughts, like to heal your body.
Yes.
Because you don't need a pill. If you do need a pill, you do. But like, if you can just allow your body to heal itself, it will heal. So I just want to say it's amazing.
Oh, well, I mean, that your story is awesome because you know what? You know, when I went to chiropractic school, a lot of us were patients. A lot of us were inspired to be chiropractors because we were once patients. And some of the stories that I heard were like yours, you know, someone who broke their back during sports or something of the sort. And I think that allowed, even as now from patient to being practitioner, you have a different perspective on what your intentions are, why you're here, and the ego and all that stuff is out the door because you know what your assignment is. Okay, we're not here to play God or anything like that. You know, so I find that, you know, when you find a chiropractor that was a patient before and then was inspired to go to chiropractic school, they are usually some of the best, most you know, committed doctors, and you know, they get good results because they're coming from a different kind of experience. And I like the fact that you mentioned that you can heal yourself through your thoughts. There's a lot of research out there right now about that, how to, you know, trick the brain to lose weight and all this stuff, because the brain really is the controlling panel. And sometimes you just have to do resets, you know, just like a computer. Sometimes you have to give it what it wants in a small, tiny dose so that it takes the monkey off your back. And I've had to do that a couple of times where, you know, like if, say, for instance, you know, you have pain, like during this COVID situation, you know, I really wasn't sure if I wanted to take the steroids because I've been trying to lose weight for a wedding, and I've been exercising and doing all this stuff, and now I have to do an inhalant that is, you know, with the steroids, and I'm, you know, concerned about all the other side effects and so forth. But you know, as a practitioner, and I, you know, respect all the different phases in healing, I listened to my doctor. I went ahead because I want to be able to breathe so that I can move, so that my body can do what it needs to do, right? So I definitely included, you know, the allopathic part just to get me to where I need to be, so that during that time, my body is healing and I can then pick up holistically from there moving forward. And I'm not depending on an inhalant to have proper breathing. So even though I'm doing, I, you know, like I said, I just got my negative test. I do find myself having to breathe a little, you know, like intentionally breathe. So that's why he insisted I got the inhalant. But I do breathing exercises. So I find that I'm not needing it as much, right? I'm not needing it as much, and I'm getting the oxygen that I need, and I'm doing my just natural breathing exercises every day. Even talking to you right now, I'm you know, controlling how I breathe and everything. So yeah, the medicine, the allopathic medicine, it's needed in a lot of cases. The idea is not be on it all the time. It is not something to be on forever, because those things can have side effects over time. So, you know, it's appreciating both sides of the road, and you know, preparing yourself for self-love, and of course talking healthy you know, affirmations to yourself. You know, like the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he, or yeah, is that who said that? Was it in the Bible?
As a man
As a
thinketh, he
man
shall
thinks,
come.
so is he,
As a
isn't it?
man thinketh, he shall become it.
Yeah, and you know what? So much it's in a lot of self-help books that you almost think that it came from some other source, but I think that came from the Bible about your thoughts and those kind of things. So thanks for sharing your story with me. I just want to tell you one more thing that blew my mind. The fastest man in the world has scoliosis, and he's from Jamaica too. And a lot of times when you're from the islands, we don't look at our limitations as limitations. It's more like we got to work harder. And I think that what happened was with him, his success came from not knowing his limitations, that he had severe scoliosis, and worked his hardest to overcome whatever it is that was that was holding him back from his goals. And as a result, he still broke records and still holds records today, and now have a chiropractor, right? That actually end up letting letting him know that he does have scoliosis, and they're kind of wondering like, how did he perform at such level, and had scoliosis? And it's probably because he didn't have that thought process like, something is wrong with me. I have scoliosis. Can you imagine if Usain Bolt knew that he had scoliosis at a young age? He probably wouldn't have tried hard enough, or somebody else might have said, you can't do this because you got a short leg or scoliosis in your back. But the fact that he didn't know and pushed through it and reconditioned his body to perform at the highest ability, it also shows that sometimes the things that we have is not a life sentence. And once you know that you have it, if you never knew all along, it's almost like, okay, I have it, but guess what? I didn't know I had it all along, but I still made it to the finish line. I still performed like I wanted to do. I still pushed myself, and made my body a better body. So I feel that was a huge story when I found out that he didn't know he had scoliosis and still broke records. Now that he's older and retired, he has a chiropractor that's helping to maintain his body and so forth. But the facts still remain, even though he had those little things that are going on, he still was a high achiever. So you can always achieve as much as you want if you don't have your mindset holding you back.
We want to say thank you so very much, Dr. Zudi and Cole. Oh my goodness. A wealth of knowledge. And I saw Janet over there. She needed 3 new pieces of paper because she had already went through 5 of her pages already. Okay.
I think I talked too much. Renee, I didn't even know what I was going to.
We are so grateful. We are so grateful for you sharing your afternoon with us. And we are looking forward to with us also. Yes. For August the 19th through the 20th. The ladies are going to have an opportunity of you even sizing them up as well. So ladies, come in early. Come a day early. The doctor is going to have you, and oh my goodness, Mary Kim was like, well, I come next day. So you guys get out of the way. So when I get there, she could just come.
Yeah. I can't wait to meet all you guys. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we are so grateful. This episode here, Mary Kim, Janet, Gracia, it has been such a powerful, powerful segment. And we are already at the top of the hour. So why don't we do this, guys? Let's make sure we go around and just let everybody know it's not only you to have self-love, care for yourself, but maybe give them at least 2 things that you're going to do to recognize and to acknowledge what the self-care, self-love you're going to do for yourself. Up today's segment with All About Gratitude. Gracian, why don't you go first, beautiful?
Okay. So number 1, 2 things I'm going to do to show gratitude with self-love. I am going to love myself radically, because if I don't love myself, I'm robbing other people that I could love. Number 2, I will make sure that I do my affirmation. I know about them, but sometimes I fall short of doing them. So I will be doing my affirmation of loving myself, self-courage, self-worth, and believing in me, because nobody else could believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Thank you, and have a beautiful Tuesday, sprinkling a little love to all of you out there, and I'll see you again next Tuesday for our Gratitude Tuesday.
Awesome.
Oh, my turn. Hi, everyone. Mary Kim Farkas here. It's been great. What I'm going to do is to continue to spread love and kindness and gratitude, because I believe as we give, we get it in return. So I want more of that. I need more of that. And I have to, continue on with my affirmations as well. I do them in the morning, but I need to remind myself I can do them all day long and just lean into that more and more. So great segment. Beautiful warriors. So happy to be here and be part of it.
I can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Janet. We can't hear you.
Oh no, I'm over here talking. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here on Gratitude Tuesdays, and for our phenomenal speakers for honoring us with their wisdom and knowledge. I learned so much today, and I so appreciate it. What I'm gonna do is first thing in the morning, stretch. Don't forget to drink my water every night and every morning, because the Dr. Z mentioned movement of our bones and getting the moisture and into our joints. So thank you so much. And self-love, taking action on making a difference for not just everybody, but for me first, because if you can't make a difference within yourself, how are you going to make a difference with anybody else? So thank you so much, Lauren, for teaching us today. And this is Janet, and I'm passing the mic.
You guys are so cute. So I love what Dr. Z shared today, and I'm going to do more of moving my body. So I need to move my body more. I actually just joined a gym, so I'm going to start working out at least once a week. And I'm also going to continue to promote and spread love, and started this new thing called Giving Out Hearts of Love. And I'm just going to write notes on hearts, paper hearts, and I'm going to pass it out to people. So that is my plan. So thank you so much.
Awesome. You're welcome. Well, I, everyone thinks that I have all the answers. I don't. And sometimes, as a doctor, and I would say I gave a lot of knowledge, and it's really coming through from another source. But I am gonna say that I do have those tender, vulnerable areas in my life. I may look strong and all that all the time when I'm out and doing things, but I'm going to have more gratitude of myself and do more self-love. Love those tender areas, those areas that make me feel insecure or guilty or shame, and love those parts of myself that are hidden behind the margins, behind the filters, behind the makeup, and spend more time in my backyard, not being always in a hurry, slow down a little bit, carve out time for spirituality. I came up with a new word, SPA, spirituality. So your little spa time, soak your feet, sit out in the sun and sunbathe, smell the roses, just get those, what do you call it? A facial. You can make your own facial at home organically. Just create your own spa ritual activities at home. So I got to learn that while being home with COVID, and I'm going to continue doing that now that I can breathe better.
I love it. I love it. And I'm just going to keep on loving you all even more. This time I'm going to wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and show you more love instead of 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay, guys?
Yes. I'm gonna have to get up earlier too.
I'm going to get more rest. And I will be seeing Dr. Juanita Bonds this week, so that I can get a little bit more pampering this week as well. Because we, Wednesdays usually are our self-care days, my self-care days. And since I've been traveling, I must say I haven't really stayed true to my commitment day. So I'll make sure on my Wednesdays I stick to it. So therefore, it really has a good reflection when you actually take the time to not only breathe, but just yourself. Your body really does appreciate it. And guys, I will say this: if you guys, everybody look at your nails right now. Everybody look at your fingernails. Need to be done. Okay, everyone, get your fingernails. You're in the clubhouse. Look at your fingernails. If those nails need to be done, go get your nails done today. All right, go and get those nails done. Call somebody out. I love it. I love it. You know, one of the ladies said, a chiropractor saved her life. A chiropractor saved her life. And we're looking forward to Dr. Zidian being with us not once a year, but now regular, okay? Because you bring so much value. Do you guys not feel the value that's today? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I missed you guys. I'll do better, definitely.
We miss you so much. Well, we've grown since last year. We truly have grown, and we're looking so forward to having everybody right together 1 week. I guess give me a couple of weeks and 2 more days. How about a week and 2 more days having everybody here in Atlanta? But I hear Jan's gonna come early, so I need to prepare myself for Janet and Barbara first.
Okay.
It's been yes.
Well, if you're coming into town early, now I was saying if you guys are coming to town early and you want to come by my Z Chiro Med Spa, I definitely will help you guys see how I help people, work on their health, health hacking, how to move and even get an adjustment. Just give me a call and definitely will make sure you get taken care of.
You know what they say, Dr. Z? Be careful what you ask for. We'll have the shop and you can be like, oh my God. You will be like, well, you said to come. You didn't mean
I know.
At one time, right? No, be careful.
Just call me ahead of time. Make sure I carve out the time and the right people for you guys when you get there.
Absolutely. Well, guys, it has been not only an amazing day. Thank you so very much, Mary Kim. Thank you, Gracian. Thank you, Miss Loren. As
Thank you, guys.
It has been a phenomenal, thankful Tuesday. It's because you came back, Gracian.
Yes.
Explosive. You can't go to Germany anymore, okay? You got to stay with us from this point on. No, guys, it has been truly a remarkable day. And we like to continue spreading good energy, spreading good love. And you know why we're in this space right now, guys? Don't let it stop here. Let this kind of feeling continue on throughout the rest of your day. Please make that not only a habit, but let's go ahead and share more love in the air. While you're in the clubhouse, let's share with you guys. Let's just keep on sharing love in the energy, in the atmosphere. I am so grateful for you all. And as we close out today, I'm looking forward to our tomorrow because we always talk about our Winning Wednesday. But I don't know about the Winning Wednesday because I'm so much wrapped all in love today. It was so explosive, wasn't it, guys?
Yes.
It was so beautiful. So beautiful.
It really was. And I guess we're just happy to be together again. So big hugs.
Yes.
Yes, big hugs. If you're in the studio there, please big hugs. I'm going to be closing out today. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys on tomorrow. But until then, keep your shoulders back and your head up. It's time for you to go blaze the universe. Why? Because the world needs another game changer. And that game changer is you. Guys, for our lunch and soar. We want to say thank you guys. Bye. Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for the energy. Thanks for the love.
I know, right? Thank you so very much.